Today I'm going to be watching this video. It's called Living in Germany versus Living in the UK. Obviously I'm from the UK and yeah, that makes me interested to see the differences between living in these two countries. I've seen a lot of people talk about culture shocks in Germany and life in Germany, but to see it compared to life in the UK, I don't think I've seen that before. So interested to see this. Tell me what you think of the comparison. Let's watch.
Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Elle and this is The Melanin Expat. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for joining, thank you for watching, thank you for hopefully subscribing. So I am Elle and I am melanated, as you can tell. I am also an expat, so I'm originally from the UK and I'm basically a British Nigerian that one day said, look, I want to change things up, I want to live abroad, and that's what I did. And I basically moved to Germany. I've been living and working out here for the last 5 years and I absolutely love it. So if you're also an expat or you're just starting off your expat journey, this is definitely the channel for you because I share a lot of insights into expat life, things that you expats will be able to relate to, some differences, some observations I've noticed over the years and things like that. So if you want more of that good stuff, then subscribe, follow me on Instagram at The Melanin Expat, and let's jump into this week's video. I wanted to start off with a really light, fun, easy topic, and that is the differences I noticed about living in Germany versus living in the UK. First thing I noticed right off the bat in my first few weeks and months of living in Germany was the difference in the people. So the difference in the people living in Germany versus living in the UK. So I know we've got Germans and we've got British people, so it's like obviously two different groups of people, but still there is such a huge difference in terms of how the people behave in Germany versus in the UK. So in the UK, we're very outgoing, I would say. We're very friendly, we're very open, and we're very approachable. British people love to make a conversation out of nothing. So you can walk down the street in my neighbourhood and you end up chatting to this old woman, that man, this child, this person's next door neighbour, that person with a dog, like you just chat to everyone. And beyond that, when it comes to like going into restaurants or going into a store, customer service is A1 in the UK. It's similar to the US where people are like overly helpful. They want to kind of be someone that you can ask a question to without you even having to go up to them and ask, like they're just ready for you. In Germany, it's slightly different, I would say. The people are a lot more conservative. German people keep to themselves, so they're not going to go out of their way to help you. But equally, if you did have a question or you were lost, then you can obviously approach someone and they would more times than none help you. But when it comes to the customer service, I have to say it is non-existent here. Like, you do not get customer service. Maybe on the high-end restaurants or high-end stores, it's a little bit better, but just in your day-to-day life, I feel like customer service is not a thing. People are not trying to be helpful if they don't need to be helpful, and that's that. But it's something I get used to. It's something that's not the end of the world, and as long as you remain like positive and happy, then life isn't so bad here or isn't so hard. So yeah, biggest difference I would say is just the way the people are. Number two.
Yeah, tell me what you think about that as a German as well. I'm very interested to know about that observation or what your thoughts are on it. Yeah, that is something I've heard with regards to customer service. I have heard that like in Europe as a whole, most European countries, the servers and people that you come into contact, customer service people, are not overly friendly but not overly unfriendly. They just do their job and that they give you the normal level of service. I don't mind that. I'm happy with that. I don't expect people to treat me any differently or be overly enthusiastic towards me when I go for dinner or go into a shop or anything like that. I like it. I like that people do keep themselves to themselves and aren't overly outgoing. But does that vary around Germany? Is there certain places in Germany where the people are more welcoming? Sometimes you find that maybe the smaller towns people can be a bit more friendly and so on. Is that the case in Germany? Is it maybe like in big cities or people are a bit more reserved? Again, it's the same in the UK. Certain parts of the UK people are more outgoing and happy to chat, but if you go to somewhere like London, certain parts of London, people are a bit more reserved as well. But tell me what you think about that.
The biggest difference, okay, not the biggest, the second biggest difference I noticed in Germany versus in the UK was the fashion. So fashion as a whole. Fashion in Germany is very non-existent, and this is not me slating the country or slating the people. Again, a very big generalization, But the difference is when I'm at home in the UK and I walk down the street, I will look in every direction and I've got like I'm like, these jeans I love, these trousers I love, this bag I love, these shoes I love, this hair I love, this makeup I love. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, my bank account, because I just have so much inspiration when it comes to fashion. When I look down the street in Germany, I'm like, okay, UGG boots, okay, Doc Martens, okay, we're all doing the whole North Face jacket thing. Like, it's very like, people are into their brands here and they just replicate that. No matter how they wear it, they just replicate it. So it's not inspiring. So yeah, it's different, you know, and it's very safe. I feel like in the UK, people take a lot more risks with fashion. People are not afraid to wear revealing clothes. People are not afraid to dress very differently from mainstream society. People are just very individualistic when it comes to their fashion in the UK. Also, when I go to stores, I feel like I don't get any inspiration. Like, I'll look at the mannequins here in Germany and I'm just like, what is going on? Like, was this a deliberate choice, or was it just a end of season kind of put together on the mannequins? Like, what's going on? Like, I never find any inspiration in the stores. Not that I'm in an in-store kind of shopping kind of gal, but like, still I walk around and I'm like, this ain't it. But like in the UK, I will walk through stores, Zara, H&M, Selfridges, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, my eyes, I cannot afford any of this, but I want all of it. Like, it makes me want to open a bank account. I don't know, like, it makes me want to buy stuff that I don't need. So definitely I feel like fashion in the UK is like up here, and in Germany it's like a kind of medium. I would say it's okay in the sense that you can go to the stores and buy stuff that you want that is somewhat fashionable, but there's just not a lot of inspiration when it comes to fashion. Third thing.
Okay, tell me what you think about that, man. I don't think I've ever heard anybody talk about how they walk around looking for inspiration and how to dress. Again, I live in Malaysia now, so I dress like very simply, as you can probably tell. I just wear like t-shirt, shorts, or else tracksuit bottoms. Pretty much everything I buy is from Uniqlo. I don't like to spend a lot on fashion. I like to save my money. I don't spuriously spend my money. I don't like that kind of mentality. I don't know what it's like in Germany. She still talked about that people are brand conscious to an extent, wearing North Face, Doc Martens and that sort of thing. So what do you think about the fashion in Germany? It's not something I've heard spoken about before. Are people, again, just more happy to dress like more simply? Do people spend a lot on clothing in Germany, or is it not really that much of a... is it not that important to people in Germany?
I noticed living in Germany versus living in the UK would have to be how environmentally friendly and clean Germany is. So Germans are very into their recycling. If you ever move to Germany, come visit Germany or live in Germany, you would understand this completely, because they take recycling so seriously. Like, you will have your housemeister screaming at you if you're putting the wrong rubbish in the wrong bin. Like, they're not here for any of that, and I love it. And equally, when it comes to littering and like things like that, you don't see people dropping rubbish on the floor, whether it's chewing gum or cigarette butts or even their dog poop. Everyone's trying to clean up after themselves, and you see that generally throughout the city, and it's super, super clean. Whereas in the UK, we're trying to get there with the recycling, but it's not anywhere as forward as Germany is. So we don't take it as seriously. I've lived in 2 different parts of the UK, so the south and north, and I know the north are a little bit more forward, I think, at least with recycling, as opposed to the south. But where I live in the south, it's like literally 2 bins and that's it, and you can literally put whatever you want in each bin, and no one like is there to kind of check it or like kind of control it. So
yeah, so when you compare like something like that about being like environmentally conscious compared to someone like just something like fashion, it shows like Germany actually care about real subjects, things that matter, actually things that have an effect. I think that's good. That's obviously what I've learned a lot in the videos I've seen. Things like recycling and like green energy and that sort of thing are taken very seriously in Germany. Again, compared to the UK, I have not lived in the UK for a long time, so I'm not too sure what the current situation is, but from what I've learned about Germany, it does seem to be one of the leading countries in the world when it comes to recycling and that side of things. So it's good to hear.
The fourth thing I noticed about living in Germany versus living in the UK is how affordable their organic and bio products are. So in Germany, you can get organic products that are super cheap, super affordable, and it's pretty much available in all supermarkets. From your Aldi to your Lidl to your Rewe, you have organic or bio products. And again, I don't really notice a price difference when I'm buying these products as opposed to non-bio or non-organic products. Whereas in the UK, you definitely would feel it in your pocket a lot more, in the sense that it's usually a lot more expensive than the non-organic products, and you don't have it so easily available. So you can go into Asda and sometimes you won't be able to find organic of a certain product, and you might have to go to another store like Holland and Barrett's to get it, and it would be a lot more expensive. So I definitely think it's harder to eat super clean or super organic in the UK in comparison to Germany, and that was something I noticed with the price point. It was that it was generally cheaper and a lot more affordable. So again, that's something I super like about living in Germany, is just how easily attainable good, healthy, bio, organic food is. So number 5. So the fifth thing I noticed about living in Germany versus living in the UK would definitely have to be the price point of alcohol. So you can get a good bottle of wine in your Aldi or in your Lidl for about €2 or €3. And I'm talking about a good bottle of wine, like a wine that I would drink all year round. Not that my wine meter is so high, but still, it's a good bottle and it's super cheap. Equally, when it comes to spirits, you can get a spirit in Aldi or Lidl on special for like €8 to about €12. Whereas in the UK, spirits are like at least £20, like minimum £20 for like a branded spirits like Smirnoff, Gordon's, all of that. And when it comes to wine, I think the minimum I would pay in the UK for wine is like £5 in a grocery store, and that's Barefoot, like Barefoot wine. I don't know what other brands, but I just remember Barefoot, and even that I wouldn't drink anymore. So it's that rancid, I couldn't, and that's probably like the cheapest bottle that you can get, about £5. The sixth thing I've noticed.
Yeah, so again, like food and drink, important things, definitely. It seems like it's cheaper to live a better lifestyle in that regard in Germany. Yeah, from what I've heard from friends and family in the UK, like the cost of living, the cost of goods is just increasing to like astronomical amounts. That makes Germany definitely a more attractive place to live, easier to live. Have you noticed the prices increasing quite a bit but in Germany for these things, or have they stayed steady? Yeah, again, it's definitely a big selling point for Germany as a place to move to, that these things are cheaper.
Noticed about living in Germany versus living in the UK is how quiet Germans are in public spaces. So they're very conscious of their tone of voice when they're out in a public area. So people are very quiet, respectful, all of that good stuff. Whereas in the UK, people are just like obnoxiously loud. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I just feel like people are loud, like on public transport, on the street, in the restaurants. Like people are just loud, whether it's like laughing, arguing, on the phone, we're just loud. And sometimes when I'm on public transport here in Germany, I will just be on the phone to my friends, to my family, and I am so loud, and then I'll just look up and I'll catch myself and I'm like, oh my gosh, I am ridiculously loud for this bus, and everyone's staring and looking at me. So I have to kind of tell myself to bring it down a little bit, and then I forget, and then my voice just goes up and up and up and up and up. So definitely one of the things I noticed very early on when I got those kind of stares in public spaces from people, just like, why is she being so loud? But I don't think it's a bad thing, I just think it's a thing. So number 7, the 7th thing I've noticed about living in Germany versus living in the UK is definitely how overly dog friendly Germany is, and I just love that. I have a little dog, I have a Chihuahua, and I love that I can take him pretty much anywhere. So public transport, into a lot of hotels, into restaurants, into shopping malls, into like clothing shops. The only place I can't take him is a grocery store, and that's pretty much it. In the UK, we love our dogs as well, but it's just not as dog friendly. So you definitely don't see dogs in restaurants. I don't even know if it's allowed. You definitely don't see them in clothing shops or in shopping malls. And equally, you don't see them on public transport. Even though it is allowed, it's just not so common that people take their dogs on public transport, because where are you really trying to go with your dog? Number 8. So the 8th thing I've noticed about living in Germany versus living in the UK is the quality of healthcare. So I definitely think Germans know what they're doing when it comes to healthcare. The quality is so much better here. I feel like the wait times are shorter, and just in general, the type of like people and resources that you have access to here in Germany is a lot better than in the UK. In the UK, we definitely have healthcare, so it could be worse. It's free healthcare, you know, you pay your taxes, and we have the NHS in terms of our healthcare provider. But yes, I just think the wait times are a little bit ridiculous. I think the quality of the services we receive are ridiculous, and I can do a whole story time on all of that good stuff. But yeah, definitely I noticed a massive difference in terms of the quality of the healthcare in Germany versus the UK. Number 9.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most important things, especially for people going to Germany or going to a country, any country, the healthcare system. And yeah, I think like a couple of decades ago, British people would have been like very, very proud of the healthcare system, the NHS. But yeah, as the years go on, the last couple of years, the last decade or so, it's just seemingly the service has been terrible. It's just been very, very bad, like she mentions. Tell me, being German, but what do you think about the German healthcare system? Sometimes foreigners and the people of that country can have a different opinion, but are you very proud of it? Do you think it's a great healthcare service in Germany?
So the 9th thing I noticed about living in Germany versus living in the UK would definitely have to be the cost of public transport. So in Germany, it's super, super cheap. I think I pay like 6 or 7 euros here for a day ticket, and I think somewhere between 9 and 12 euros in the south of Germany, so Munich, where it's a little bit more expensive for a day ticket. And in the UK, I pay around £20 for a day ticket, and I don't know if it even covers all modes of public transport, so I'm pretty sure I can only use that ticket on like trains or like buses, and then not on the underground. Whereas like in Germany, your ticket covers buses, trams and trains, so you can use it pretty much whatever mode of transport you want to take. So the 10th thing I've noticed about living in Germany versus living in the UK is just how much Germans are into their bikes. They see bikes as a whole mode of transport. People are on their bikes from birth. Like you see children like ridiculously young on bikes, on bike lanes, and I love it. Like I'm here for it. I definitely have my bike. I definitely ride to my appointments by bike. I go on dinner dates with my bike. I go on nights out with my bike. I love that, and I can't drive, so I definitely have it as my main mode of transport, and it's environmentally friendly and it just makes me feel super independent, so I love that. In the UK, we do have a bike culture, but it's not as common, I would say, as in Germany. And just generally, you don't see bike lanes like everywhere. Like maybe in London, you have bikes a little bit more, bike usage a bit more. Same with north of England, where there's a little bit more country or more like grass, I don't know, fields, all of that good stuff. So you do have it in certain areas, but I just would say it's not as common as it is here in Germany. So that brings us to the end of this week's video. I hope you guys enjoyed.
Yeah, very good video. Go subscribe to our channel. Again, like the only negatives there were like that maybe Germans were reserved and the fashion, but all the things that actually matter when you move to a country, the healthcare system, the food and drink, the cost of that, all these environmentally friendly activity or things, and also even the healthy lifestyle with cycling and so on, everything just works better in Germany, just have a better level than the UK in this example anyway, but I would probably guess it in most people's own experience that would be the case, that Germany would just be a lot further ahead. And I feel like the UK is just very stagnant, whether it's the economy, the people's mentality, people's drive. Germany, I feel like it's just a bit more vibrant, and people are just or the country is just a bit more forward thinking and on a more upward trajectory than the UK. So tell me what you think about this and what the points raised in the video. Thanks.